Hi everyone, Lonnie. I'd like to welcome you to my first episode for 2015. Today I'm going to be combining a bench hook with a clamp. Now the clamp part of it can be modified and made longer or shorter, but for my purposes I need shorter or about half the width of my table. Now what I'm going to be using today is some rough cut lumber. Its measurements are actually 1x6. It's really irrelevant, and I have a 7/8 dowel, and this is pretty much it. Now some of the stuff I'm doing is strictly cosmetic, and I'll discuss that at the end of the video, and some other things I'm doing actually have purpose. So let's get started.
Okay, here I'm simply going to cut the board down to 20 inches and trim up one end of it.
I've taken my 2x6. Now I cut mine at 20 inches. It fits my workbench. I made them 2 inches wide, and I had one other strip that was lacking, but I cut it into 4-inch blocks. I only had this one little pit left over. Now we're going to mark this out for drilling the holes. Now at this point I'm going to mark where I want to drill my holes. I'm going to turn this one block on end. It is 1 inch wide, and I want to space myself out before I start about 1 inch from the end. Being super precise at this point is not really a big deal. I will make a mark about every 2 inches, all the way to the end. Now center it. Being it's 2 inches wide, center's easy to find, just 1 inch in. Now, right here's where one stop's going to go. If you flip it to the other end, I'm going to make a mark there as well. This is going to tell me where to stop. I'll simply do the same thing on the other. Now I'm going to use a spade bit for these. The spade bit will give you kind of a looser hole, and these are simply where I'm going to be putting stops in. I've set the spade to stop just before it comes through the other side, that way I don't have any blowouts. Once I drill the first set of holes, I'll simply flip it over and come in from the other side. Once you've gone almost all the way through on one side, you simply complete it on the other. This will keep you from having any major blowouts. And even though one hole will be a little close to my line, I know I've got an extra inch there, so it's no big deal. Done. Should have two matching pieces. Due to the length you choose, one end may not be quite consistent with the other, but as long as you have two ends that will line up and the holes line up. Now I was looking at this and on my stops, I'm thinking an inch is just a little too much. So since my dowel rod is 7/8, I decided that I'm going to thin these down to 7/8 of an inch. And then we'll go on to trimming up the sides of these. Now I went ahead and sanded these. I wasn't trying for perfect. I mean, they're going to be a shop tool. We just kind of cosmetically made them look better. I'm going to put these stops on, making sure my bevel is to the back. I'm going to put the glue on about as evenly as I can get it. As far as centering it, my eyeball's good enough. But we really need this stop to be as level as we can get it. Once I'm there, I just clamp it down to dry. Now this is the time to clean up any squeeze outs you might have. My straws are handy for cleaning this out, but I actually don't have a single one. So just a little damp water or an old t-shirt. Now I've set a stop block up at 4 inches on this side of the curve. Now these, we're just going to go corner to corner. Corner to corner. Now we want to be just a little off center actually. We know that's where the center is, so I actually want to put or drill my hole right there. How you do yours is strictly up to you. But once the dowel's in there, this gives me a shorter side and a longer side, which makes adjustment a lot easier. Now I've switched to a 7/8 Forstner bit. It will leave a much tighter hole for my dowel to go through. Now I'm drilling off center, so I don't have to really be dead on for what I want. But I got this fence set up back here to kind of stop it in case the bit grabs. Finger saver. Still have a small blowout on the backside. Nothing I can't live with. I'm still waiting for these to dry. These dowels are cut so that they should bottom out without bottoming out on the table. I'm just going to give them a light gluing, put them in there, and let them finish. Once your ends are dry, lay them flush. You're going to try centering both on your main body and on your holes. We're going to use a generous amount of wood glue, both the dowel and in the hole. Just going to use my brush to get the most even coating I can. This pin is going to be holding two pieces of wood together now. I'll go ahead and smear it around the outside of this. I'm going to shave it kind of got a funny look to them that you really don't seem to know if they're coming or going. Things that are necessary is this bevel on the side. Now let's say this is the boards you're trying to glue or clamp together. And this is the top of the clamp. Inevitably, you're going to have squeeze out and you're liable to glue your work to your clamp. Now if you're trying to get something in here to pry it apart, you're likely to damage your workpiece. But if you have that bevel in there, that creates less surface area across the top and automatically gives you an in with a little bit of leverage to pop the piece loose. Another thing you want to do is take some wax. It doesn't matter if it's finishing wax or paraffin wax, and rub down the surface of it real good. This way it interferes with glue's ability to adhere to the surface of your clamps and it'll help it pop free. Now, let me show you how to use them. Now these have a simple design. Now depending on how you do it, mine have corresponding ends. A little bit of measuring, you can get rid of that. Now, like a standard bench hook, they'll just hook right on there and secure your work. Now at this point, let's say you were sanding, chiseling, or just had something you needed to lift it up to protect your table or just to get some oomph to it, you've got yourself a bench hook and you can spread it apart. Let's say you're running low on clamps. Just put that in there with your wedge. Side side note, you want to make sure you get your wedges probably about twice the length of your block. And that'll help secure your work and give you a little more clamping power. And keep your piece nice and level. Well, there you have it. Nice simple project. It'll take you probably only a couple hours to kick it out. There's nothing wrong with putting screws in the end of that. That's what the original designs call for. I just wanted to do it that way. Well, I hope these will be handy to you in your shop. Pretty economical to make. If you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear them. Anyway, thanks for taking the time to watch. Please subscribe and see you next time.